Hello and welcome to the Paris Fintech Forum Communities Programme. I'm Elliot Gotkin, I'm a journalist, and with Laurent Nisri, co-host of this exclusive video interview series produced with the support of Solaris Bank, Rise, and BPI France. Now, open banking has spawned an entire legion of fintechs seeking to revolutionise the space. Unicorns like Plaid in the US or Tink in Sweden. The biggest in the UK is Truelayer, which in April raised $70 million in fresh funding. The company's co-founder and CEO is Francesco Simoneschi, who joins me now. Great to see you, Francesco.
Hi, Elliot. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, it's great to see you. I described Truelayer as an open banking platform, but what does that mean precisely in practice? Maybe you can give us some more details.
Absolutely. So at Truelayer, we make it easy to for any business to build better financial experiences using open banking. As an example, we help making bank payments seamless experience, but also, for instance, using your bank account to verify customers in seconds. We effectively want to build a financial ecosystem that works for everyone, and we are in this process opening up access by putting fintechs at people's fingerprint. Some background: the company has been founded in 2016. We were definitely like the very first open banking platform building in the UK on top of the change in regulation that the government promoted. And today we process more than half of the overall API volume and open banking traffic in the UK, but also in Ireland and in Spain. We are, as a platform, live in 12 markets. We do have pretty good coverage of banks and connection with financial institution in all the largest market in Europe. And you use Truelayer when you, for instance, you connect your bank account to Revolut, to Nutmeg, to Free Trade, and many other financial applications in Europe.
Okay, well, of course, it's been a testing year and a half for everyone. I'm just wondering what the biggest challenges were for you over the past 12 to 18 months, and perhaps the biggest opportunities that you faced during this kind of pandemic period.
Right. Well, I guess the challenges were all at a team level, at a personal level. Like you got one day you have to tell the company, now we are all gonna go remote, which was of course like not our way of working before. And then you have to just take in consideration that everyone in the team, they will just have their own personal stories. Like there was so much unknowns, like people like had their own, of course, like big concern, like they have kids, they have parents, like of course like looking after themselves. So clearly there was a lot of noise and a lot of challenges that we had to face as a business when you look at the individual level. And I think like we have been quite successful in overcoming some of those challenges and reinventing ourselves into new ways of working and collaborating, of course remotely, but even just, I think, developing a sense of we are in this all together, and clearly each and every one will go through some up and downs, and we need to care for each other as a team and as a strong community. Now, of course, that was also applicable to our customers, and we have seen different level of success. Certain customers completely accelerated, and their business was just propelled by a number of activities shifting from retail to online. Some others were, of course, impacted. I'm thinking, for instance, online investments and all those wealth tech proposition. They have been clearly propelled by the pandemic for a number of reasons. People started to save more, and clearly it was a fantastic year from that standpoint. And we have seen that reflected in our numbers ourselves. Like, we grew more than 600 times in the last 12 months, and I would say that for us as a business, we haven't really been hit by COVID in a negative way if you look at our numbers. But of course, like, there has been, for instance, I look at the lending industry in the early days of the pandemic. Then clearly there has been a slowdown of that area of the business. So you see, like, it depends where you are, and we as a platform, we see many things together. Overall, like, the effect for us has been, I would say, has been like pretty fast moving 12 months, and we have been really even surprised to a certain extent of like how much we grew in spite of so many challenging conditions around ourselves.
So that's a bit about Truelayer, Francesco, but tell me a bit about yourself, a bit more about Francesco, and kind of how you came to be where you are today.
I'll try to be fast. So I grew up as a software engineer in Italy, in Rome, and I started very early in my career a startup company. I was 19 years old, and I did that with my current co-founder at Truelayer, Luca. And we knew each other like since we were like really teens, like since we were 14 years old. So I think like we grew with this mentality of being tech entrepreneurs, and that's probably like the only thing that I always try to do in my life, and hopefully I'll continue to do that in the future. I had a I spent about 7 years in Silicon Valley while I was building another company, and also I spent quite some time in angel investment through an investment fund that I co-founded in Silicon Valley, but also now as an angel in Europe, I'm trying to help other entrepreneurs to be successful. We got into Truelayer in 2016 because we've seen this huge opportunity building around open banking as a fundamental infrastructure that will empower the future of financial technology. And we said there's so much to build, and clearly this is not an off-the-shelf solution. Like, you can't really use open banking if somebody is not going to build to enable businesses to do that, and that's what we have done.
You said you, I think, started your first startup when you were in Italy, where you grew up. I'm just wondering, why did you kind of need to go to Silicon Valley or to London or certainly where you are today to found Truelayer? Do you think you would have been able to do the same in Italy? Are the conditions just not the same there that would encourage and enable you to find the talent, to find the ideas and the collaborators and the team to kind of build this thing?
Yeah, I think, look, things are clearly changing now. I would say I think Italy specifically is in a way better shape than what it used to be 15 years ago or 20 years ago. But clearly, I believe the places you mentioned, whether it's Silicon Valley or London or New York or other places around the world, you have this I would say this overlap of a few ingredients that are very important to accelerate an ecosystem. Like, you have capital, you have the talent and the experience, and you also have, I would say, a platform of early users around you, whether are other companies or the end users that are really keen to give you feedback and uptake your product in the early stages, which is fundamental to find product market fit. So the thing of an ecosystem is that it's very hard to engineer, because you need to again, like, put many different ingredients together, and many times, like, those ingredients needs to be there and build in an organic way. So for instance, Italy, I don't think that, certainly not 15 or 20 years ago, like it was there. Today it's starting to come along, I think, competitively versus other countries in Europe. Like, it's still probably one of the slowest moving. and you see all those constituencies, all those ingredients, and they are in their own manner, they're all lacking behind. And that's why the ecosystem overall is still like not as developed as maybe the UK or London to that extent.
Okay. Well, look, Francesco, don't go away, because we're just going to take a very quick break, after which we're going to continue our conversation with Truelayer co-founder and CEO Francesco Simoneschi. Welcome back, and don't forget, if you're not already a full member of our community, everything you need to join can be found at www.parisfintechforum.com. Now, Francesco, I've got a few more questions for you, so let's talk a bit more in detail about the kind of subsector of fintech, if you like, in which you and Truelayer operate. I mean, these are boom times for fintech anyway. Case in point, Plaid raising, $435 million at a $13.5 billion valuation around the same time as your fundraising round. Is fintech overvalued?
I don't think so. I think like you can take two end of the spectrum, like and maybe it's not just fintech, but like the overall technology I think area. From one side, this is overvalued, is overcrowded, too many companies that are propelled by too much capital. That's one view, and then there is another view that, which is I'm a little bit more into that latter category, which is, look, technology is fundamentally just reinventing, rebuilding, re-establishing ways of exchanging value and transacting. And in this monumental change, every single category is going to be disrupted by software. Everything is going to be built on software. Software is eating the world. That's kind of the mantra of that we have seen building up in the last 10 years. And so if you think about that, if you look at every single corner of the economy one by one, and then you think about how much value will need to be replaced and improved and 10x by technology, then I came to the conclusion that actually we are underserved. I believe that there should be probably like 10 times more companies and 10 times more capital chasing the opportunity at the very moment, because this is a non-linear explosion. So and technology is filling every single gap in every single industry. And if you start doing the math, you will figure out that actually that's maybe not enough competition. Then that actually there's so much more to do. So my view is that if you look at specifically financial services, is one of the largest category of our economy. So if we really want to start replacing and improving with technology every single corner of financial services, then it is going to be a massive undertake that will still take many, many years to come. And actually, I believe like we are underinvest in that sense.
I'm glad you mentioned competition, because I guess there's been some of the competition's been being gobbled up, if you like, by a lot of the M&A activity that's been going on in the space. We saw Visa, after failing to buy Plaid, is buying Tink for more than $2 billion. MasterCard bought FinCity last year. Do you see these as kind of defensive moves, or should card companies and big banks be afraid of open banking fintechs? I think Jamie Dimon, the JP Morgan CEO, put that in slightly more colourful language.
As always, this is kind of the innovator's dilemma, if you want. Should I be afraid, or should I look at this as an opportunity? Well, I think open banking has the fundamental potential to displace a significant portion of debit spending and debit usage, among many other things. Also, like massively improving the way we onboard ourselves to marketplaces, financial services, and so forth. We ask for loans. So there's many categories that open banking is gonna in a way disrupt, and I think there's much to fear if you don't have a strategy to use that source of like new technology as part of your product strategy. Then it becomes an opportunity. I think what we have seen at the moment, it's probably a little bit of a I think it is clearly a statement to say this is relevant for our strategy. I think the jury is still out to understand whether has been a more defensive play, or actually over time some of those companies can start building new product functionalities and value for their customers based on those emerging technologies such as open banking, of course, and be fine that some of that will eat and take out of some of their more legacy and established products, creating new kind of opportunities.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see what further developments evolve in the open banking space, but I'm afraid we are out of time. So I really just want to thank you, Truelayer co-founder and CEO Francesco Simoneschi, for joining me today.
Thank you, Elliot.
And I'll be back again next week with another big name from the world of finance and technology. We do hope you'll be able to join us again then. In the meantime, you can keep up to date with all the exclusive interviews and content from the Paris Fintech Forum Communities Programme via www.parisfintechforum.com. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.